Hi, everyone. So just to give you a little bit of background, I'm just going to talk briefly about some new regulations that came out towards the end of last year relating to the certification of organic foodstuffs in South Africa. Some of you may know that we have two government departments that currently regulate food law in South Africa. The one is the Department of Health, and the other one is the Department of Agriculture, Forestries and Fisheries. The two main pieces of legislation that govern food law other than other regulatory aspects are the Foodstuffs, Cosmetics and Disinfectants Act and then the Agricultural Product Standards Act. So for agricultural products that could fall under the organic certification, those would be covered by the Department of Agriculture, Forestries and Fisheries. And until these new guidelines were published, all we had was a private certification bodies, and what they would do is they would apply European or American standards to try and certify organic food, but there was no national certification that was possible. So what would in effect happen is consumers would be confronted by a product in a supermarket that would be labeled organic, and there would be no body appointed by the state or that would follow a set of regulations that would be applicable to South Africa that would actually be able to certify that the product is organic. It meant that if there were ever any complaints about packaging or the labeling of products, you would then have to go to the self-regulatory body and file a complaint on the basis that the packaging was possibly misleading. That said, it would then be difficult to try and prove that it was misleading because what do you compare it against? You'd have to then go back to the European or the American standards and then try and fit those around whatever your particular complaint relates to. So it kind of came in hand with the fact that South Africa has also been dealing a lot with an obesity problem, and there's been a drive for more healthier foodstuffs and for general labeling of foodstuffs to be upgraded and improved to try and match what's happening in other parts of the world. So that was really the prompter behind the amendment. So what we have at the moment is the Department of Agriculture, Forestries and Fisheries approached the South African Organic Sector Organization and asked them to put together a set of draft regulations that will actually regulate quite an expansive array of products in South Africa, including inter alia our winemaking production. As you know, there are a number of South African winemakers that produce what are so-called organic wines. So those would also be covered by the new organic certification. It's not that complicated. It's not a very thick document, and I'll show you a link at the end that you can have access to. Insofar as wild collection, processing and handling is concerned, that relates to hunting specifically and the processing of meats that would possibly certify for or qualify for organic certification that are hunted on small scale. And then finally, where are we? Well, we have a South African National Accreditation Society called SANAS. So it must then accept the regulations, and it will then appoint a body that will be responsible for approving and doing all the certification for organic products once they've been applied for. That is the website of the South African Organic Society. If anybody has any questions, you're welcome to contact me. Thank you.